to need from all Calgarians right now. As we've discussed in our recent briefings, returning the Bearspaw South meter main to service is a delicate operation that carries a risk of another break along the 14-kilometer stretch of the feeder main. As we work to return the feeder main to service, we've been planning ahead for multiple contingencies in the event of an unexpected break by implementing a community protection plan. Over the past few days, we have removed parts of the 2 sections of the berm along Montgomery Boulevard Northwest, installed temporary barriers along the Bow River pathway near Parkdale Boulevard Northwest between 30th and 33rd Streets. We have cleared catch basins, opened river outflows, and replaced select manhole covers with ones that allow water to drain more quickly. Over the next few days, people in the areas around the feeder main may see other activities as we put this plan into place, like an increased presence of utility teams, city work crews, the Calgary Fire Department, Calgary Police, and peace officers. Additional measures like sandbags may be deployed proactively at certain locations as needed. I want to reassure people that seeing mitigation activities in their neighborhoods, that this isn't about expecting another break, but it's about being prepared for one. We are not waiting and we are not taking chances. Every decision we are making and every plan we have is centered around protecting the community. We always advise businesses and communities to be prepared for any eventuality when it comes to an emergency. An emergency action plan can reduce the impact of an emergency situation. Making a plan will ensure that you and your family members know what to do and who to call. Lots of planning resources are available on calgary.ca/getready. I'd also like to encourage Calgarians to download the Alberta Emergency Alert app. As mentioned before, there are 2 types of notifications, and downloading the app allows you to receive localized alerts like we issued on January the 7th. These are non-life safety alerts, however, provide important information and actions that you can take to help us with a circumstance that's occurring in the city. While we are still making good progress on the Bearspaw South feeder main and bringing it back into service, the work isn't complete, and we still need every Calgarian to do their part to save water. Yesterday's water use was 505 million litres. This is an increase from the day before. We really need to get into that green zone of water sustainability below 485 million litres per day. Even in the yellow zone, our system is under strain, which doesn't allow our system to operate safely or maintain our emergency reserves. We all need to aim to save 25 to 30 litres per person per day to make sure that we have the water we need for firefighters, hospitals, and homes. Easy ways to do that include reducing the number of times you flush a toilet, taking a shorter shower, and running your dishwasher or washing machine only when you have a full load. These may seem like small everyday actions, and they are, but when 1.7 million people do them, the impact is huge. We've had a lot of questions about water use and the largest areas of use. As you can see, residential use is the largest use. 60% of our water use is used by residential households. And that is why we feel so strongly that each and every one of us can make a difference. Thank you to everyone who is saving water. Every liter really does count. I'll now turn it over to General Manager Michael Thompson to provide an update.
Thank you, Chief Henry. I'm Michael Thompson, General Manager of Infrastructure Services for the City of Calgary. I'd like to start off today by providing an update on the repair site and the return to service plan. Over the weekend, we continued refilling the feeder main with 22 million litres of water, equivalent to approximately 9 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Refilling the pipe does not impact daily demand levels as we're using water from the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant and not the Glenmore Water Plant and the Glenmore Reservoir. We are now collecting samples to test the water to make sure it is meeting or exceeding regulatory standards from Alberta Health Services and Alberta Environment and Protected Areas. Once we have completed the testing process and the water is safe to drink, we will begin stabilizing the system, which includes turning on the pumps at the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant and starting to flow water through the pipe. increasing water flow through the pipe comes with risk. Once the pipe is returned to service, we will begin the process of easing out of water conservation. If everything goes well, we will return the pipe to service in the next few days. We are focused on returning the pipe to service as quickly and safely as possible. The timeline is contingent on water testing and stabilizing the pipe slowly as we monitor how it responds to water flows. Plans are in place to support how we will respond to future potential breaks. If the pipe is stable and water conservation efforts are eased out of, we will return in the spring and fall to do planned work to reinforce numerous sections of the pipe that are at most risk of a future break. This will require stage 4 restrictions and indoor water conservation at that time. We are waiting until the spring because that is when the spring snow melt starts and the Elbow River flows into the Glenmore Reservoir are high enough that it can be refilled. If we experience another break as we return the pipe to service, stage 4 water restrictions and indoor water conservation will remain in place, and we will begin repairs both on the new break and will move ahead with the reinforcements of numerous other sections of pipe. We will work closely with those in the area to make sure they are informed and to provide support should any of these contingencies be needed. Finally, as I mentioned on Saturday, we are putting a different feeder main back into service at Memorial Drive and 52nd Street in the northeast. Planned repairs are complete, and having this feeder main back in service helps us move water more effectively through the east side of the city. People in these areas of the city may notice a few temporary conditions in their water over the next few days, like a slight drop in water pressure, cold water appearing cloudy, what we call turbidity, or a chlorine smell as we use chlorine to disinfect the feeder main before returning it to service. I want to reassure people in the area that these conditions are temporary and safe, and they are not related to our work on the Bears Paw feeder main. Your drinking water remains safe to drink. We will have more updates as the week progresses and as we move forward on returning the pipe to service. During this time, we still need your help to reduce pressure on the system. Until we are out of this vulnerable period, the actions taken across Calgary matter. I want to thank Calgarians for their support as we return the pipe to service. Just like you depend on water, right now, your water system depends on you. I'll now hand the podium over to Mayor Farkas.
Thank you, GM Thompson, Chief Henry. I'm privileged to be joined by my colleague, Councillor Kelly, as well as we've been regularly engaged with council members over the course of the weekend. Good afternoon, Calgarians. We are almost through this. I want to start with a very simple thank you. Thank you to everyone who has made real efforts to cut back on water use over the past few weeks. We know that this has been frustrating, and we know that it feels unacceptable that a city like Calgary is even having this conversation. But it's because of your diligence, because of the around-the-clock work of our crews, and because City Council has been fully focused on this every single day, that we are making progress. Now, as we look ahead, we need to be very clear. We are not out of the woods yet. As we refill this pipe and bring it back up to pressure, there is still a real chance that we could see another break. And that's why, Calgary, we still need you. Even if it feels like we're close, and we are, we need you to stay in conservation mode for just a little bit longer. Because every liter we save right now gives our crews more time and more room to stabilize the system. And it helps protect things like fire response, like hospital capacity, and our ability to respond if something goes wrong. So please, keep showers short, hold off on laundry and dishes where you can, only flush when necessary, avoid outdoor use, and keep thinking only what I truly need. If another break happens, however, we are ready, not only to repair that location as quickly as possible, but to immediately begin planned reinforcements on other identified weak points along this line. If we can bring back the pipe into service without incident, it means these short-term restrictions can come to an end. But we also need you to understand this. The work won't be done. This pipe will still need to come offline again in the spring and again in the fall so we can complete further reinforcements and keep it operating until the replacement feeder main is finished. So today, as the pipe is refilled, we will be doing extensive quality and safety testing before we can reconnect it into Calgary's water supply. This has been a very eye-opening experience. We learned that the safety measures we believed were in place before December 30th did not work the way we expected them to. We now know that this pipe can fail again. And it's that new reality that has changed our approach. And it's clarified three things. First, we need to move faster. Second, we need to detect risks sooner. And third, we need to operate at the pace Calgarians expect and deserve. Because moving forward, we are in uncharted territory. But here is what I know. Together, we are almost through this incident. Together, we'll prepare for the planned interruptions in the spring and fall. And together, we will adapt to a new reality, that until the replacement pipe is fully in the ground and online, we may still face further challenges. This pipe, this terminally ill piece of infrastructure, has reached the end of its life. And that is exactly why we're putting every ounce of focus and energy into solving this, not just today, but for the next generation. Thank you, Calgary. Let's keep doing our part. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Maybe this is for GM Thompson. I'm just wondering about the road and the work now that it's being completely paved. Earlier today there was no active work that was happening. I know you guys have talked about the delicate nature of repressurizing and getting that pipe. Is that why all of those lanes have not reopened yet? And is there a timeline on when all of those lanes can reopen and vehicles can drive over?
Thanks for the question. So the question was really focused around when will 16th Avenue be opening up again? And the crews, like you mentioned, worked throughout the weekend, repaving that road and getting it ready to reopen. We will be reopening that this week. There's safety measures that we have to complete, putting the safety barriers back in place, cleaning up the site and finishing that and making sure that the road is safe to open. And so our primary focus is on safety, ensuring that it's safe to open. I also should mention, we will have to come back in the spring and remove that temporary asphalt that we put down on Sunday and pave that road completely in the spring once the temperatures are better. So this is a temporary patch to get us through to the spring, and we'll be opening up 16th Avenue this week.
I do, for the mayor, and this is more just on, there's been a lot of talk, of course, since the independent panel review report came out, and just what councils and which mayors knew what about the city's water system. It talked about successive councils not acting well enough to prepare the city and to protect the city when it comes to water. Of course, you were on council before. There was no action or not action that wasn't strong enough during your previous term. Was that due to just a lack of action or a lack of information that your previous council just didn't have at the time when it came to the need to
So the independent panel review that we conducted our special meeting on council on, the chair as well as the panelists really highlighted that it was 21 years of successive decisions that had been made both at the political level and the city administration that had contributed to an environment where this was allowed to happen. On a go-forward basis, our council is united in terms of actioning recommendations from the report, improving the accountability and governance of our water utility generally, as well as moving lightning fast to procure, design, build the replacement pipe. In the short term, we're asking Calgarians to help support our first responders, our emergency crews, to conserve water, to ensure that we're limiting flushes only to when necessary. We're only running laundry and dishes when full. That sort of thing. We need to step up in the short term. If it's 20 to 30 liters per individuals we can save, it can bring us back to the sustainable zone. But as a council, we're very committed to actioning the recommendations as laid out in the report. There's some longer term questions in terms of whether the city moves to a wholly owned subsidiary, what the exact model might be. But make no mistake, our council is moving lightning fast to get this done, to ensure that we can take those learnings from the past and ensure that this never happens again.
Steps that you have to do, in the case of these in the future. So what are you doing now to kind of prep in case there is another rupture, as you repressurize this, or even in spring, to kind of make sure you're moving fast and keeping up with steps you laid out?
Yeah, I'll ask GM Thompson to weigh in on the exact details.
Thanks for the question. So the question really is, what are we doing right now to make sure we're moving faster so that we're ready should something happen? And so we have purchased the repair parts. We have the steel pipe ready, the adapters ready should there be another break in this pipe. We've done tabletop exercises so the crews are ready and they know what to do. The crews are out there operating this pipe and the water system. They're ready to react. Should there be another break, we can turn the pipe off quickly to reduce the water use or loss and get to the site right away. You'll start to see equipment around the area. We've got large pieces of equipment. Again, we're not expecting something to happen, but should something happen, we're prepared to move as quickly as possible to fix that emergency break and at the same time do those additional repairs that I talked about. If the system, we turn it back on and it's stable and we're able to get to the spring without a break, we will have to take this pipe out of service in the spring to do those additional repairs at that time. So we are ready to move. We're ready to act. We do not need anything. We're focused on action right now and moving forward as quickly as possible.
As far as the timeline, I know early next week, or early this week, I guess now, like kind of the set timeline for when things would get, more subscriptions, running water. Is there a best case scenario, worst case scenario as far as like the timeline you give me? I know Wednesday, can you give me some idea? People curious about when those water restrictions will lift.
Yeah, great question. We don't, and the question's really around what the timeline looks like. Our focus is on safety. And so making sure that the water is safe to drink. We're filling the pipe right now. We have to test the chlorine levels in the pipe, make sure that that they're sufficient to support safe return to service. And then we sample the water and we have to send that water to the lab, make sure it's safe. And then we slowly start to turn the pump on and bring the system online and stabilize the system. So I can't give you an exact timeline the next 12 hours looks like. I can tell you it will be over the next few days, but our focus is on safety and making sure we're safe, that we have safe drinking water and we're safely restoring this pipe back into service.
Thank you. CBC.
Mayor, Councillor Wyness released a statement last night that was critical of the independent panel report. She said it took too long to come out, it did not provide enough new information on top of the existing reports that council had already seen. What's your response to her view that the significance of this independent panel report was overstated?
Thank you for the question. And as mayor, I really welcome a robust conversation and debate from my council colleagues on how we can learn from the past to ensure that this never happens again. As far as the timing, my understanding is that this independent panel report was initially set for later this year, so the timing was actually an acceleration of the process. I'm very grateful to Chair Kiefer as well as the panel authors to accommodate this timing. Obviously, there's some debate and discussions in terms of resourcing, timing, how the recommendations are implemented. But at the end of the day, our council is very united in terms of wanting Calgary's water utility to be accountable, to be well-run, cost-effective, safe. We are absolutely committed to doing absolutely everything that is necessary to ensure that Calgarians can rely on our water utility and ensure that that service is safe and reliable. So I look forward to continued discussion with my council colleagues on this. And the last thing I'll offer on that is it really does help to have an independent set of eyes. The previous reports were internal reviews, largely city staff checking their own work. And I think there's a tremendous amount of value from Chair Kiefer as well as his panelists. Look, these are individuals who collectively have 2.5 centuries of experience running high performance organizations, pipeline companies, public utilities. It's very good for us as a council to take a trust but verify approach to make sure that we have that external advice checking our work. And it really reinforces the urgency. Our council is working at lightning speed to support our administration in the execution of not just the immediate response and getting the water service back up to speed, but also the medium-term fix, which is the build out of the replacement pipe. We've committed to an unprecedented $1.1 billion in spending for our water utility in the previous budget adjustments. We're committed to not just fixing the pipes, but also also the governance and accountability systems going forward. So very much looking forward to that debate, and really welcome the participation of every member of council, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want to make sure that our water is safe and reliable, and it's toward those ends that I really welcome that conversation.
You mentioned working at lightning speed. One of the concerns that Councillor Weines mentioned in her statement was council being pressured to act without doing proper due diligence first. Is council trying to move too quickly on these recommendations?
There's no such thing as moving too quickly on getting Calgary's water supply back to safety and reliability. We've known that this is a ticking time bomb underneath our streets. This Bears Paw feeder main is terminally ill. We have to do everything that we can to rally as a corporation, but also as a community to support this work. As we look at ways to reduce the timeline of construction, there may be more short-term disruption that's necessary. We need to work hand in hand with the community and affected businesses every step of the way so that we can stick the landing on this mega project. The buck stops with us. We are ultimately responsible and accountable as this council. We're committed to doing absolutely everything necessary to ensure that we solve this for good, not just for next week, not just for next year, but for the next 100 years. Our council is tasked, rightly or wrongly, with solving this once and for all. We cannot afford to continue to pass the buck. So no, there's no such thing as moving too quickly on this. Calgarians need to know that their water supply is safe and reliable, and this is what our council is committed to doing.
Thanks. Time for a couple last questions.
Maybe for Chief Henry. We noticed that the consumption is going up and down, one day or other. Are you noticing a pattern? Are you noticing something that is explaining why, one day you have like less than 5 million and then the other day you go up? Do you see something like that?
There is nothing evident for us of why the consumption goes up and down each day. The only thing is the use that our citizens are using. So that's why we're continuing to tell folks, please help us save 30 liters, take those shorter showers, only flush when necessary, and only run those loads when they are full.
Has it been any reports on the strain of the water restriction on the fire department or some other emergency departments?
So as we've talked about before, the 485 million liters puts us in a strained level, and it means that our system is working really hard, which is why we want that target to sit at 485. So far, we've been lucky. The Bears Paw plant is continuing to operate. It's continuing to do very well. We're able to do small pieces of maintenance on that plant, but we are drawing down on the amount of water that's available in the Glenmore Reservoir for us into the future. So we need to make sure that we're saving as much water as possible, that we're protecting that Glenmore plant, and the way to do that is to reduce our water usage.
Daniel, did you have a question? No. Global? Anybody else? I think that's a wrap for today. Thank you very much for coming. If you have any follow-up questions for the media or for media relations or fact checking, please just reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. Thank you.